Welcome back, everyone. My name is Mr. Best. I'm a third grade teacher here at Joshua Dixon Elementary School in beautiful Columbiana, Ohio. I do these Mr. Best educational videos to help us out, our students, and help out parents, cousins, brothers, sisters, anybody that wants to watch with math videos. Also, we have some other videos going on later on. You can also find me on YouTube at Mr. Best Educational Videos. So I just made a video, that's what we're doing, a video, about bar graphs a little bit ago. And hopefully you watched that one and you'll be able to click over to this one, which is a pictograph one. We're seeing videos about collecting data and how you can graph data. So we have pictographs here. Also, another name for pictograph is a picture graph. And the reason it's called a picture graph or a pictograph is because you use pictures. Seems to make sense. The other video, you had bar graphs because you used bars. Okay? So in pictographs, we're going to gather information first. That's usually step one that we want to. So I'm going to use basically the same information that we had for the bar graph, which is tally chart. Okay? So I made kind of some fake numbers. So we're just going to determine that of our thing here. We have red, blue, green. And we had our graph before, which we had a title, which we'll do next step, is probably our favorite colors. Okay? So just for this information, for this video, we're going to think of making a pictograph based off of these favorite colors. So we said that maybe 3 people like blue, and 2 people like red, and 5 people, including myself, like green for our favorite colors. Okay? So since we've gathered the information, we're going to add a title to our graph. Okay? So at the top, I think it's pretty safe to say we can make the title favorite colors. That seems like it makes sense. Okay? Step 1, gather information. Step 2, add a title. Step 3, we need to add a key. Now this is a little bit different than a bar graph because in a bar graph, you can just read exactly what the bars are, determining on the scale that you have with the numbers, and then you can figure out what it is. In a pictograph, it's a little different because the key is the key. I tell my kids that like 100 times a day when we're doing our pictographs. Okay? The key is the key because the key tells you exactly how to read the pictograph, and it might be different than other pictographs because you have to be very, very careful. Okay? And I'll show you in our picture here when we start to make it complete. You're going to see something that's not normal in bar graphs, but very normal in pictographs. Okay? So we need to add a key. So let me just make a box here so we can at least put our graph in to start. So we got to figure out a key. Based off our information, we have 3, 2, and 5, okay? In a pictograph, remember, we're using pictures. So I'm going to write down here the key, and let's figure it out. Now, I know these are colors. I can use really any picture. I'm just going to go ahead and use a smiley face, okay? So every smiley face you see on the pictograph is going to be 1 vote, okay? 1 vote for the color. Every picture, 1 vote. So keep that in mind because the key is the key that determines what the scale is, okay? Step 4, we're going to add our choices and add our labels. So on this side, we're going to start putting our labels, okay? Now if you watched the last video for the bar graphs, I told you there are 2 types of bar graphs. So there are vertical bar graphs that go up and down, tells you the information up and down. And there's horizontal bar graphs that go left and right. Same thing with pictographs. Right now, I'm going to make a horizontal pictograph, okay? And then I can show you, after I make this one, the vertical pictograph. Same information, just 2 different ways to read it, okay? So on this side, I'm going to go ahead and write what I have here. I'm going to write my blue, I'm going to write my red, and I'm going to write my green. Okay. So, got my title, got my space here, got my key, which is the key, and have my choices here. So now based off of this, I'm going to read my pictograph correctly off my tally chart information. Blue is 3, okay? So every vote is 1 here. So I'm going to go 1 smiley face, 2 smiley faces, 3 smiley faces, 3 smiley faces. My key is every smiley face is 1 vote. That tells me 1, 2, 3 for blue. That looks good. Red going to be 2 smiley faces, or kind of a grin, And we look for green is going to be 5. Whoops. I's in the wrong spot. Okay? So, when I'm looking at here, I'm looking at my pictograph. My key is my key. Every smiley face is 1 vote. Okay? And I have my horizontal pictograph going from left to right. Okay? So, let me change it up a little bit and show you the vertical pictograph. Same information. Okay? I'm going to erase my key real quick. Okay? I'm going to erase this here. Actually, I'm going to erase the whole thing because I'm going to be right over there. Okay? And let me just erase this all the way. Get you more of a scale. So we have favorite colors, still our title. That's still what we're working with. Instead of being the horizontal pictograph, we're going to do the vertical pictograph. Now, there's going to be information up and down. Still need a key. Very important, still need a key. So let's start with the key. I need to determine a scale. Let's say I'm going to put my key over here now, because I want to put something else down there. Let's say every smiley face now is equal to 2 votes. Okay, that's different than the first one. Same information, graphing the same stuff, but I changed my key. So remember, the key is the key. Keep that in mind. I'm going to go down here. Same information down there. We have blue. We have red. And we have green. Now, I'm going to change colors real quick so you can see the blue a little bit easier. Since my key is now 1 smiley face equals 2 votes, I still need to put all of my information in. All right? Let me start with red, though. I'm going to skip blue for a second. Let me start with red. Going up, I know that I have 1 picture. 1 picture tells me every smiley face is 2 votes. I have 2 votes. I only need 1 picture. Okay, keep that in mind. I don't want 2 pictures. Because if I have 2 pictures, that would tell me I had 2-4 for red. But that's not what my information tells me. Okay? Keeping that in mind, let me go back to blue. Okay? 1 smiley face for sure because that's 2, but I actually have 3. So, I can't use a full circle. Let me draw one real quick. But if I look at my tally chart information, that's 3. This tells me based off the key I have 2-4. That's not right. So what you're going to see on pictographs is something like this. Okay, connect that a little bit. You're going to see half a symbol. Okay, and think about that. If I see half a circle, or excuse me, half a smiley face, and every full smiley face is 2, half of 2 is 1. I can write 2 down into 1 and 1, so half a smiley face is 1. So now when I read the pictograph, blue is now 2, 3, that matches up. This is 2, green is also 5, an odd number, so we're going to need 1 smiley face for 2, another full smiley face for 4, and we're going to need a half smiley face for 5, okay? There it is. Same information. Instead of making a horizontal bar graph, we made a horizontal pictograph. We made a vertical pictograph. We changed the key but have the same information. 3 here, 2 here, 5 here. Okay. So, the only other thing I'm going to show you and teach you about in this little video has to do with when you answer questions, okay? Because I ask my kids all the time to answer questions about the graph. I ask them, they talk to each other in groups, they ask each other, I quiz their brain about them, okay? So we're starting to get pretty good at asking questions. So you're going to hear some key phrases. If I were to ask you in this information here, how many people voted all together? So when you hear all together, light bulbs should go off in your brain thinking, okay, all together means everything, all the votes, okay? So I'm looking at all the votes. If I use my key, and use my graph, I'm looking for all the votes. So all together, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All together, I'd have 10 votes. That's all together. Okay? What you also see is some questions that say how many more of something, or how many less of something. Okay? That's when you compare and contrast numbers. We get into those other words later on when we do some greater than, less than, equal to stuff, okay, which can come into play for graphing. But you will see how many more, how many less. So if we look at this picture here, Pictograph, if I were to ask you how many more students chose blue than red, you could answer that pretty easily. Okay? So when you see how many more, you're going to be comparing numbers, comparing information. How many more chose blue than red? Well, I take blue, which I know is 3, and I have red, which is 2. I need to make this some type of math problem. So when you hear how many more, it's going to be one of the 4 operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. How many more? Comparing differences, you want to subtract those numbers. 3 minus the 2 would be 1. Now, your label's not done yet because I asked my kids, what's the label? 1 pig, 1 fish, 1 iguana. Look at your information. It's going to be 1 more vote, because that's what we're voting for. We were voting for favorite colors. Okay. In the same line as how many more, I might ask you how many less of something. Okay. So if I think of how many less, I say, hey, how many less red were there than green in our voting? How many less red than green? Okay. If I look at my red, there's a couple ways to do this. Okay. You could keep the same thinking of how many more, but in how many less, I take my red, which is 2, based off my key, and I need to add something to get to my green, which is 2, 4, 5. Okay. So how many less? Well, if I'm looking through here, if I have 2 there, so I'm going to not look at those for a second. 2 plus something's going to give me 5. Well, with quick math here, you have 1 full picture, which is 2, and a half picture, which is 1 more, which is 3. 2 plus 3 is going to give me 5. So my answer, I can give me 3 less votes. Okay? Pretty good. We're getting pretty good at that. Once you get the hang of it, once you start to see some, they get to be pretty easy. Okay, and we start to ask you some additional questions. So if you have any other questions about pictographs, bar graphs, soon we'll be getting to the line plots, and I'll make a video here about soon. You can always email me, okay? You can always check the YouTube, because I mostly put these on YouTube. You can check the Columbia Clippers website. They have all these videos are posted onto my page, Mr. Best's page. So anyone can come on and watch them. Okay, I'll be posting this later today. So, any other questions? Good math, good luck. Okay, if you have anything else, let me know. Okay, I think you can do it. Have a good day.